Hey guys, I thought it'd be fun to do a quick update with the Propel Endeavour Pro. So recently, if you've seen in my previous videos, I upgraded the black bushings, which came stock with the board, to the white bushings, which are the softest that Propel currently make. The theory being that when the board was originally sort of delivered stock, it was a bit of a bars to sort of move around. Carving was particularly hard. It's kind of like a lacroix or something like that. You really have to throw your weight into it to get it to move. When you basically add the whites, or you do some witchcraft that some of the other guys on the Propel group did, like drilling the original OG blacks out, it basically just opens up a whole new sort of level to the sort of board riding. So, right. Yesterday, I went out with some of the London Carve group. It was Billy's birthday, so we were sort of all checking out a new sort of place in London we've not seen before. I think it was, just checking the board. It was Hornchurch Country Park, so it's actually not bad. It's kind of a mixture. It's intended as a sort of a general walkers park, or a sort of a BMX or a stunt rider park, whatever it is. It's really great for sort of EUCs, or maybe less so one wheels, but you can do the same sort of thing. So I and a few other boarders, I think there were 3 or 4 of us out there on yesterday, and we were sort of just riding around, doing some. I mean, some of the sort of jumps were really tidy. This board did not once sort of bottom out or otherwise. As far as the turning goes, which is probably you guys are most interested in, literally it is in comparison with all of the other unbound boards. Obviously, when you start moving towards something like a Tramp or an Apex, once you're bound in, you can then use your physical body to really turn in and turn forward otherwise. Which kind of brings me on to my sort of my next point, which I think something like foot stops, and I'll say this, you can, the fuck was that? We'll ignore that, edit that out. What's great about this board, because it is sort of a mountable style deck, you do have drops, which means you can really jam your feet into the front and the rear trucks. The only thing you've got to be aware of is when you do that, and don't do what I did, which is you're dragging your sort of your feet against the your sort of your trainers or whatever, your vans, against the wheels. And once you do that, particularly if you're doing something technical, you're going around a sort of sharp corner, you'll end up catching something, and then you lose your speed, or you'll bugger up your distribution of weight, and then you lose power, or you just lose turning, and you just deck it basically, which sucks. So we spoke a little bit about the bushings themselves. They are a must buy, so just buy them, no questions. But I want to sort of have to revert some of my previous advice on one of my other videos. So when I was watching the Virtual Propel Garage, which is, by the way, one of the best e-skate sponsored or maintained maintenance channels. I mean, who else does that? I mean, Evolve kind of did a few little bits and pieces of how do you change your bearings, how do you change this and that. But Propeller basically said, this is how you tear down the board. And I, as a supporter of right to repair and similar sort of ideas or initiatives, I should say, that is, they've got my full support regarding that. So what I discovered was, going back to my original point, when I changed out with much frustration the black bushing to the white bushing, getting through the main pin was a massive ball ache. And one thing I said at the end of the video was I didn't thread lock it. Mistake. Despite the fact I thought I used all of my Herculean effort to make sure that was secured, it didn't take long for someone to point out and go to me, is that meant to look like that? To which I responded, no, and got my Wearer tools out and kind of went, crap. So absolutely get some red or blue thread lock on there. Just suck it up, go to the gym. I don't know. I know it's a pain in the ass to get anything that's been thread locked is just a nightmare to unsecure, but it's better than your truck's cut. I mean, I think if that had gone for me, I would have lost the suspension, and I'd lost pretty much all my turning. But particularly where I was when I was kind of off road, I'd have gone. By some miracle, I have both. Everything's still there. It's just really loose. I've tightened it up, but it's okay. So to finish off that particular day, just to sort of add salt into the wounds, I got a flat tire. So I had to very carefully ride this back with one of my other Eastgate buddies to make sure that, yeah, we nursed it back and not without knackering the hubs. So, so where would it end this up? So as far as riding off road with the white bushings, it was good. I can't really compare it to the Trampers. I don't think it's quite fair. I would definitely take this over any of the street boards all day long. That suspension just it eats up the bumps. You've just got to be a little bit careful that it is, how would I put this? There are certain sort of, how would you put it? There's feeling from the road. So as you're riding along, you're feeling the bumps, you're feeling the corners, you can kind of feel the terrain. It's the same with a car, it's the same with a motorcycle, it's the same with anything, whether you're riding a jet ski or you're sailing, okay? By adding suspension and removing that immediate feedback to your riding, whether it be all of the other things I've just mentioned, it will delay your response to what you're doing. So what I did notice, and I didn't notice, which by the way, which makes me wonder about the Tramper, why their suspension, why this is so tied in, it's so locked in. I mean, the suspension on the Tramper is, it takes the pain out of anything big, but you still feel pain the rest of the way. And now I'm wondering, is it because it's to give rider sort of immediate interaction? So if you're coming across something a bit, the terrain is starting to turn, it's starting to get a little bit rough, you can now feel that and you can respond accordingly. Whereas when you've got something like this, which is, it just smooths out most of the hard stuff, does that take away your response time and your ability to respond to sort of your upcoming terrain? So I don't want to ramble too much. I want to do more riding on this and do some more upgrades. There's a lot of cool stuff to do here. Currently, I've basically reduced the power on this board. Nothing particularly intentionally, mostly because I'm incompetent with the Vest tool. I wouldn't mind trying it again once I've upped the power a little bit, maybe added a bit of slime to the tyres. I probably think what I will do is I will start locking these down a little bit, so I'll tighten them up. I'll tighten the suspension up, tighten the bushings up, just to give it that bit of a firmer feel. So if you do take it to somewhere like an off-road truck or otherwise, you've got that more immediate feedback, which, as I said a moment ago. Right, so I think that's enough rambling. I don't know of any other disaster that happened that day. So this is a little bit of a trial. I was originally meant to have my road mic, but that fucking fucked up, didn't it? Cool. Rock and roll. Enjoy.